The new RTX 4060 Ti is out there on the market, so today I will show you the best value RTX 4060 Ti gaming PC build that you can buy in 2023. This is, in my opinion, the best price to performance components you can get for this graphics card. It will have zero bottleneck and you can play at 1440p with no issues. And you can play from 1080p all the way up to 4K depending on the titles and depending on the settings. I will talk about the performance in a second. You will have the links to all of these components in the video description. So now let's start. For the CPU, I picked the Ryzen 5 5600. In my opinion, there's no doubt this is the best price to performance CPU on the market, and it has been that way for a long time now. It's a 6-core 12-thread processor that is going to be great and it will not bottleneck our GPU. And that is the most important thing on a gaming system. You want to get the best GPU possible for your budget and you want a CPU that will not bottleneck it. Now for the CPU cooler, I picked the Thermalright Assassin X. This is a $20 CPU cooler and trust me, it is not necessary, so if you want to save 20 bucks or so, just don't buy the cooler, but if you want better temps and also a more quiet experience, this is nice to have. Then for the motherboard, I picked the ASRock B550M PG Riptide. This is a really nice motherboard for the price of 105 bucks. It has enough gaming features and it's going to be all that we need for our Ryzen 5 5600. Now, if you want a motherboard that has a better upgradable path, I will leave in the description an alternative. With that motherboard, you will be able to drop something like the Ryzen 5 5800 X3D down the line, which is one of the fastest processors still today. Then for the memory kit, I picked the Team Group Vulcan C, 16 gigs of RAM, 2x8 of DDR4 at 3600 MHz, CL18 memory. 16 gigs of RAM is all that you're going to need. However, if for some reason you need 32 gigs of RAM, let's say you do streaming or you want to do content creation, then you're looking to spend around 20 to 30 extra bucks for a 32 gig kit. Then for the storage, we have a great deal here on the MSI M450 1TB of Gen 4 SSD, just going for 32 bucks. This is a really fast SSD, and for gaming, literally there's no difference between this one and a higher end Gen 4 SSD. So yes, even if you get the highest end SSD out there, you will not achieve higher FPS, and load times are actually going to be pretty similar. Then for the graphics card, of course, we have the RTX 4060 Ti. This is the Gigabyte Eagle one, and it's going for $400. Honestly, this video is not going to be about me talking about whether you should buy this or not. I think it is not a terrible GPU considering it's really power efficient, and the RTX 3070 has been selling for around 500 to 530 bucks, and this one has a slightly better performance. It's almost the same performance as the 3070 Ti. It's around $100 to $130 cheaper and it's much more efficient, so you will end up saving money in your electricity bill. The only limitation here is the VRAM. You get 8 gigs of VRAM, so if you're thinking of playing at ultra settings and the latest AAA titles at 1440p and 4K, you will definitely have some limitations, but if you turn down the settings to high or you turn on the DLSS, VRAM shouldn't be an issue, but you have to be aware of these limitations and the type of games that you play. If you play the typical games, GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, esports titles such as Valorant, Fortnite, CSGO, you will have no issues with the VRAM, and those games you can actually run at 4040p ultra settings with no issues. And when we are talking about esports titles, let's say for example Valorant, you will be able to run these games at above 240 FPS on average, even at 4K. So I think this system is really good, and even though the 4060 Ti is not the best product out there, I don't hate it. Then for the case, we have the Bitfinex Nova Mesh. This is one of the new ones, just going for 60 bucks. It comes with 3 pre-installed RGB fans, 2 on the front, 1 on the back, really good airflow, and it's definitely all that we are going to need for this system. Last but not least, the power supply. We have the Super Flower Golden Green. This is a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and you can get away with way less. You can even put a 500 watt power supply and you will be fine. However, the power supply market has been really expensive, and honestly it's not worth spending less than this, considering this one has really good quality, and most of the power supplies under 60 bucks right now are really not that great in terms of quality. So the total price for this PC is $850, and remember, you're getting a great 1440p and 1080p gaming system that has the latest NVIDIA features like DLSS 3.0 or frame generation, and the price is actually pretty decent. If you wanna save up some money, I do recommend you taking out the CPU cooler as I mentioned at the beginning for a $20 discount, and if you even wanna save up more money, then yes, you can go with a lower end power supply, but I wouldn't recommend you doing this. I think $850 is the sweet spot for this type of performance. So yes, here you have a PC that's great for 1440p, 1080p gaming, basically every single game with no issues. And an important part, you will be saving money on your electricity bill. Now, maybe you don't even care about this, but if you do care, this is something really nice. And if you have some extra money to spend, I would recommend you going for 32 gigs of RAM instead of 16, especially if, like I said before, you're going to do streaming or content creation. Then if you have more money, you can upgrade the storage for 2 terabytes of SSD instead of 1, but this is something you can always do down the line. Now, if you have any questions about this system or just any PC build, let me know in the comment section. Maybe you're wondering how this PC will run on your favorite title, then just let me know. I will try to reply as fast as possible. And right now there are some Prebuilt PCs with the RTX 4060 Ti, so I recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt PC deals right now, because there are actually some pretty insane deals where you can save a ton of money. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.